So do you really understand how garrisoning works? Is the health of the entire garrison based on the captain, or is it based on the entire troops? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think? Welcome back, Ruckers. So in this video, we're going to talk about how our captaining works in a garrison. Now, in my videos, you guys have already seen Artemisa and Wu Zetian, tremendous commander, worked really well. I do have a couple suggestions for you guys before we get on with the topic of this, is that combinations that can counter the meta of Attila and Takeda, you should definitely consider using a Wu Zetian or Constantine with full infantry, or you can flip it, actually much better if you flipped it, using a Constantine and Wu Zetian instead. Now, with that being said, we have seen those reports done tremendous work. So, honestly, Constantine is one of those really great commanders out there that I think has been kind of like underrated by everybody until recently. Now, you're maybe considering, with the new commanders, they're garrison commanders, and you're probably gonna want them. I've recently unlocked Yi Sun Sin, but in my opinion, I don't think he's gonna be that great. And Theodora, for my arsenal, I don't think I really need her. You can actually do a Theodora Constantine. That might be very interesting how it's gonna work, or a Theodora Wu Zetian. Now, if it's gonna be a Constantine, I would highly recommend for you guys to actually fill it up with full infantry, 40% health of the infantry units. Now, in my previous videos of my archer videos, I have talked about Artemisia, and I've talked about how you can do a Artemisia and Constantine pair. So you can actually watch my video from the previous one and check how I discussed that breakdown and how it's gonna help you to succeed. And I can guarantee you that you will like that approach. But not many people will have this type of commanders, this combinations of commanders that we have, Artemisia and Constantine. So for me, I am already working on Constantine, and I will get him expertise, but I will not get him to level 60. I think I'm going to keep him at level 40. I'm not really a big fan of the support tree, so I'm just going to keep him in the level 40. And I'm going to be using Artemisia due to her defensive tree. So you can do your testing, you can come back to me, you can message me. If you do that testing, you watch that video, and I can guarantee you, you and I will have a very fun conversation, and I can guarantee you that you wouldn't be wasting your time on that video. So it's gonna give you a lot of value. If you really want to succeed in the game, I highly recommend to watch the Archer video, and I will put a link on the description below as well. Now, I have a screenshot here which I have asked the devs about a question. Ask the question of the garrison captain, 50% troop. Is it based on the player's captain, or is it based on the entire structure? So what does that mean is that, is it going to be based on your, the image that you are going to see, whoever is leading your flag or fortress, because sometimes their health goes down, and then is it going to be based on that and how the skills are going to trigger? Or is it based on the reinforcement that is coming in, your total number of troops into the flag or a structure? What do you think? If you have commented already below, I'm going to be looking at them and see what do actually most people think in this community about it. But here's a message from our support. The person had said, so it is based on the entire troops in the structure. So what does that mean? If you are now looking into YSS, because that's the one that we actually asked about, I believe it's this skill that I've asked. Okay, so with this skill, you can see that it's going to be at like dropping at below 50%. So if it's with that knowledge, right, knowing that it's going to be 50% troops of the entire structure, then if you're reinforcing your troops into that flag, and how is that going to work for you? How is this going to trigger for you? It is not going to trigger unless you stop reinforcing and you let it go down to 50%, and then you reinforce there, then it could activate. But I believe once you go above 51% or above 50%, this passive skill is gone and is not going to have any more buff. So is there really a good benefit for you using this skill? Investing on this commander, you need to know how it's going to work. You shouldn't just, randomly just invest on a commander. So I believe this will really help you and kind of navigate on a lot of things in here, as well as Constantine. If you're looking at Constantine, it has to drop below 50% before he can activate the healing. So like I've mentioned, it is the entire structure amount of troops. Now, I'm not that much concerned about Constantine's last skill in here, about the healing and the skill damage reduction. 40% is insane. If you manage to go down to 50%, then you will have that healing and it will get you back up, which is nice for Constantine. All of these skills in here is going to work perfectly. Plus, what's amazing with Constantine is that he almost have every skill working for him because he has a new skill. Although this is a situational, a very good condition before it would work. So I'm okay with this not working right away unless I hit 50% less troops. But I would honestly rather have max troops in a flag than to let it go down to 50% just to proc the healing and the skill damage reduction for a brief moment. So honestly, you have to kind of decide where your goal is when you're defending, right? Do you really want to take it down low where you actually lose more troops just to proc a skill? Is it worth it? In my opinion, it's not worth it, because at that moment, if your troop count is going low and your opponent's troop count is high, you're actually getting more casualty than them, and the trade-off is not going to be good. Now, if both parties are going low at the same time, then, this is more practical. It's benefiting you more than the opponent. But this is going to be helpful if it's in the crucial times where you can't reinforce right away for Constantine, and then it procs some healing, and then after that you were able to reinforce just because the situation, maybe you didn't control the field right away. So those are some of the things that can benefit you with using this Cross of Divine skill. So how am I gonna benefit on this skill? Like I said, I'm gonna use Constantine as a secondary. I'm gonna be using Artemisa as a primary, and like what we've mentioned, right, at 50% is the only time that we're gonna really get a benefit on this one. So what I'm gonna do is, since that I have Artemisa, where's my Artemisa? We're gonna be, once I have everything set up in here, we're gonna equip the best equipment, of course, and we're gonna equip the Lucky Skolas coin on Artemisa, and we're gonna have, better shield effect in here because we have a very, very Lucky Skolas coin. We crit it, and we got a special talent for Archer, so we're gonna be leading with Archer in here. And I've mentioned about, in my video, so make sure to watch it. I will go a little bit more detail on how you're going to be using Artemisa there with Constantine. So let's tackle a question here that was asked by one of our viewers in Rise of Kingdoms. The question was, in terms of when attacking a garrison, Guan Yu versus attacking city, Julius Caesar, Guan will apply to both, but Caesar's only apply to city. So what does he mean by this? Alright, so if you look into Guan Yu, when attacking Garrison, so that's a key word there, attacking Garrison. So what that's going to do is that when you're attacking the Garrison, it means that you're attacking the fortress, the flags, or anything that is leading by Garrison, even of a holy site. Now, comparison to Julius Caesar, it states in here, attacking only the governor's cities. So with that being said, the statement here, or the question, is actually correct. So the second question in here is that about El Cid. Let's take a look on where Mr. El Cid is in here. He should be expertise. Why can't I find El Cid? There we go. El Cid has a skill to disable. Would this work to Attila? Attila has a skill here to be immune to silence. How would that work? Like, since the question here, since El Cid's skill is both disarm and silence, only disarm will apply, question mark. What the support has said actually is that only disarm will apply, so the silencing part is not going to work. So that may be a very, very important detail to know when you're trying to go against Attila with using El Cid. Now, we kind of talked about this topic earlier. The question now is that how does strength of troops calculate in a rally? So this is a little bit more detail. The calculation, we don't get to see a whole lot of mathematics coming out from supports, but in this video, since you guys are lucky enough to see this, we're going to provide that to you. The question here is that Con and Edward have skills based on the percentage of strength, right? So if you're taking a look into that, when the army led by this commander is at 70% strength or higher, that pretty good question in here. I love the questions in here. In a rally, even if it's constantly refilled by 2 million troops, the health bar goes red to the account severely wounded troops. All right, so you're seeing the captain in here going low on their march. So the question is now, do these count toward the percentage of strength or the actual number of troops out of the 2 million? So it is the same concept that what we talked about earlier. It's not about the captain, right? So it's not about the rally leader, but it's about how much troops are actually inside. So what I've done is actually I've explored this question even further, and I asked the support more in detail, right? So I said, when is it like 1 million died, then it's at 50%, and then is that when it's going to trigger, basically. So I asked something about with Constantine. With Constantine, when you reach 50% troops, let's say you're in a fortress and 1 million died, and now you reach, 1 million. Now that's 50% of the 2 million troops. Now, will that be the only time that's going to cast, right? And, the responses actually was very good and very detailed. We have the formula in here. A 2 million full rally or a garrison 100%. After a war, 1 million died or injured, there'll be a 50%. Now, if you reinforce this, it'll be about 66%, right? Approximately. The example that were given to us. Now, an additional information is here is that, yes, but in actual battle, a garrison will be kept reinforcing, right? So you have to allow the actual situation in the game. So when he has only 50% troops, then the skill will be triggered. So with this one, with that being said, what you need to do is you have to keep it up with 70% strength and above. So with the question that the player had asked here is about Genghis Khan as well. Let's take a look at Genghis Khan. Which skill is it? I'm not, extremely familiar with Khan's skill. It's right here. So, while the army led by this commander is more than 70% strength. So, your entire rally has to be more than 70% strength. Okay? So that this would work. Yeah, you want to increase your damage bonus. So, if you're just letting your rally, your troops get knocked out, your rally, and then you're not really getting benefit of this. So you want to have a very, very well reinforced rally to get the benefits on this. Now, in my previous video, the support did give us a wrong answer, so I'll do another follow-up in here. I know I just did one. Anything that is stated on the map actually works on rallies, and you will not see the stats. And we're trying to push that so that they can, implement the stats showing the battle report or somewhere that states that it's actually working. Maybe in the beginning of the battle report, something like that. If it's, filled with archers, or I don't know how they're going to do it. But it depends on how the situation is for that. Because at some point, when somebody tried to reinforce it with non-archer units, then you're going to break the condition. And then maybe they can do is at the end of the battle report is that they can put like condition broken. Now it's not full archers anymore. There's infantry in there. Then this condition or this skill is not going to be applicable. So maybe something like that. I don't know. I'm sure they can think of something very creative to do. But anything that is on the map, I knew this before, but when they gave me the answer of saying that it's not working, it made me question everything. But with the video that I did, I was able to push them to actually provide us the the correct answer. So we're a big advocate here on making the game awesome. So that's one of those videos that really made this game even better. Like I said, on the map will work rallies, Openfield fighting, the thing that's not gonna work on the map is that if you're defending a garrison, it's not gonna work. If you're a resource node, it's not going to work. This is also going to work on the expedition matches and the canyon matches, so those are going to work. Even I believe it should also work for Ark of Osiris, because you'll be technically on the map there as well. So, and you're gonna be rallying, right? So with that being said, to come back here to tie up everything conclusion wise, so just keep in mind that when you're rallying or you are defending a structure, you will see that the HP of the captain is going low, but that doesn't dictate the situational skills, right? It doesn't dictate the situational skills like for Constantine, right? So if the captain reaches like 50% troops, it's not going to trigger this. Okay, the entire troop composition of the flag has to reach 50% before you can trigger this. So with that being said, those type of skills like for Yi Sun Sin, I'm really not a big fan of it, because I have to wait for 50% and I'm gonna be losing a lot of value, losing all those troops first before I get the benefit of this. So you can make your own judgment. If you really like it, go for it. More power to you. But for me, I personally don't like it that way. And it goes the same way with rallying. So with rallying, I've mentioned with Edward of Woodstock, if you have 70% more troops and you gotta make sure you keep that filled, or Genghis Khan, so that you can maximize or have the benefit of having this buff or this skill. So don't fret whenever you're seeing those red bar, right? That's just basically because of the captain is, you know, losing troops. Understand that with Edward of Woodstock in here, if you're or Genghis Khan, if you're trying to play an open field battle, if you really want to maximize the 70% strength, what you can definitely do is go in and out of your city. So you gotta like refresh. So when you kind of go down low, maybe when you see like a yellow bar, go back home, refresh your troops, send it back out, so that you have the maximum benefit of his skills. Anyway, rockers, thanks for watching. I hope you guys actually learned something in here. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys actually think. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, I do appreciate it if you guys do and support our channel. And I will see you guys again next time. If you guys have any question, don't hesitate to ask us in the comment section below or PM us on Discord. We will try to find the answers for you, because you are special to me. See you guys.